Okay, so I went ahead and opened contact.html and we're going to build the form here. So we have this table that we pasted from the Word document, if you remember. I'm going to select everything from the second row downwards and delete it. Let me show you how to select. Just put the cursor right before the letter E and then drag downward. You will see that the borders of your table became bold. So white bold, it means they're selected, and then you just hit delete. Okay? Now, put your cursor in the second cell and hit enter a couple of times, and then take this vertical line of the first column, drag it a bit to the right side, and the vertical line of the second column and drag it a bit outward to the right side as well. And again, put the cursor at the very top and go to the insert panel. We worked with common and layout. Now we're going to work with forms. So choose forms from that panel and then choose form. Okay? When you choose form, you will see a red bordered container. It's empty, you see through it, but it has a red border. That's the form. That's where all the form is going to reside. Okay? So if your cursor is inside the form, hit enter a few times, just for you to see visually that this red bordered area is where your form is going to be. Now, if you click on the form, on the red border, you're going to see the properties in the properties panel change to accommodate that element. So for form ID, we want to write form mail. Okay, form mail exactly like this. Okay, so we gave the form the ID that it needs. And now let's start. So put the cursor at the very top and then again look in the insert panel, scroll down to find SPRY validation text field. Okay, let's go ahead and start. So for ID, this is going to be name, and you have to write it in lowercase like this so that it matches what's in the PHP file. And then hit OK. This is the first text field. And let's look at the properties panel. We have to change SPRY text field. We have to call this name text field. And this is for us to know if this is for the name box, if this is for the email box, and so forth. For hint, we want to say name with a capital N, and the word name will appear in this text field. If you wanted to say write your name, you just type write your name in the hint field. For minimum characters, say 1. For maximum characters, say 50. And validate on blur, which means validating on blur will check if what the user entered is more than 1 character and less than 50 characters. So that's the first field. Let's go ahead and insert another SPRY validation text field. This is going to be called email in lowercase. Hit OK. Where it says SPRY text field, I'm going to write email text field. Hint is going to be email with a capital E. Minimum characters 1, maximum characters 50. Validate on blur, and for type, choose email address so that it verifies whether the @ sign or .com, if necessary, are found, so that it verifies that it's an email indeed. That's the second one. The third one, again, we're not choosing SPRY validation text field. We're going to choose SPRY validation text area, and this is going to be called message in lowercase, and here we will say message text area. For minimum characters, let's say 1. For maximum, 400. Okay, so that the user has enough opportunity to write what they want to write, the message that they want to write. Let's validate on blur so that the counting does happen. You can click on character count, which will basically place a counter outside so that when the user is typing their comment, they will see how many characters they entered. Okay, so you can choose to show the character count or not, that's up to you. The hint is going to be message, and that's what will show in this box if you wish for that to happen. Next, hit enter, and we want the submit button. So I'm going to just select button. For the ID, I will say submit, which will show on the button. Okay, so I just inserted a submit button, and that's my form. Now I need to get rid of this white border. So let's click on the white border, like here, on the border, and you should see in the properties panel the properties changing to that of the table, and you will see border 1, change that to 0, and that's it, the border disappears, and this is your form. Let's go ahead and refresh the page and see how this looks. File, save. And obviously again this window appears which is asking to add additional CSS and JavaScript files, and you would say yes, and then let's preview, and everything looks great except that we forgot to erase this name word. So let's go to Dreamweaver and get rid of this word name, which we don't need. So save and refresh the page. That's it. So we have our form, beautiful form. We can go ahead and type like our name. Now if I skip this, let's say I don't enter anything and hit the tab key, it's going to say a value is required, right? So I have to enter my name. And then for the email, if I just say something random like 3, it's going to say invalid format because it's expecting the @ right? So mzachary@msu.edu. Okay, now that works. And the message, for example, hello, and it counted it for me, 6 words. And then I hit the submit button.